In this video, we're going to talk about how to lay out sizes medium, large, and extra large for our View B hoodie pattern. So that's this one right here. I'm going to circle it. You should have already circled it like that. You should have highlighted the one that you're doing, and this is the one we are focusing on today. Just a quick reminder, there are actually two parts to this layout. We're going to lay out pieces 3, 7, and 8 with a lengthwise regular fold. And then we're going to lay out pieces 1 and 2 with a lengthwise double fold, meaning that there's a fold on both sides and their selvages meet in the middle. Whereas over here, we have a fold on one side and selvages on the other. And we'll talk about each of those. We'll start with our more regular fold. And I'm just going to cover up the other part and we're going to ignore it, okay? We're just going to ignore that part. I'm going to take my fabric, which is just a piece of paper, right? I'm going to put my fold on top, just like it says, so fold and selvages down here where it opens up. I'm going to lay it out as close to this edge as possible so that I have space for the other layout down here. So I'm going to start on the very edge and I'll take my piece 7, which is the first one it has, and I'm going to lay that out. It's close to the fold, but it does not have to be on the fold because I have a straight of grain arrow and it's not a piece that needs to be cut on the fold here. So I'm going to just lay that out. I'm not going to glue it yet because I'm going to have to measure it to make sure it's really accurate in a minute, and I'm going to have to make sure that all my pieces fit as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my piece number 3, and it's going to go just like this. So I'm just copying what I see over here, and my piece 8. Piece 8 needs to be placed on the fold, so I'm going to put that right up against the fold, and that's my first layout. I'm going to glue this down, but before I do, I just want to make sure that I have space for my other 2 pieces that I'm going to go down, my piece 1 and 2. 2 is longer, so I'm going to take 2 and do this, and I'm just going to slide it the whole width. I'm going to make sure that I have space. If my piece 3 ended up down here somehow, I would not have space for my piece 2 later, okay? It needs to be able to go that whole length, and we'll see in a minute why. But if it's anywhere is interfering, then I need to figure out what's going on and move those pieces up, okay? So as close to this right side as possible. Next thing I'm going to do is measure. My straight of grain arrow should be parallel to my fold and my selvage and my lengthwise grain. To make sure that's parallel, I'm going to measure the left side and the right side because it should always be the same distance. It doesn't matter what the distance is, just should always be the same. So I'm going to measure, and right here, I'm going to move it to what's an easy number for me to know. 5/8 is the number on the left, and I have 5/8 on the right, so I know that's parallel. Then I'm just going to, since we're gluing these down, you're going to glue yours much better, but I'm just going to do a little dot so it's fast for the video. I'm going to just glue that little dot right there, and my piece 7 is ready to go. I'll do the same thing with my piece number 3, where I'm going to measure the distance from this arrow to my selvage or fold. In this case, I'm going to do the selvage, and I'm going to make it an easy number for me to remember. I'm going to do 1 inch here, and down here it's 1 inch. If it was off like this, so it'd be like, oh, that's 1 inch, then, oh, that's 1 1/4 inch, then I would need to move it to be 1 inch and remeasure on both sides because sometimes you move the other side. So that's 1 inch. I'm going to hold it again. Oh, I moved it. I'll do that one more time. So I'm going to measure it. When you glue it down, make sure that you're not moving it. If you do, you're going to have to remeasure. But also make sure that you glue it better than I do. So I'm just doing one little dot of glue just because I want to be fast for our video. You're going to glue yours much better. The last piece over here is piece 8, and it does not even have to be measured because it needs to just go right on the fold. It should not be 1/4 inch away from the fold. It shouldn't be 1/8 of an inch away from the fold. It should be directly on that fold there. Okay? So right on that fold. I have my first layout done just like it shows me in the picture. I still have space for my piece 2 over here, and now I'm going to have to do my separate layout. In order to do that, I'm going to have to cut. You can see how those are cut right there. As close as I can, I'm just going to cut this first layout off, and I'm going to put that right there. Next, I'm going to do my second layout. And you'll notice that there needs to be a fold on the top and on the bottom. My selvages need to meet in the middle. I'm going to cover up the rest of this again so we're not confused. So I'm going to take my 2 selvages, which are the ends of my fabric, and they're going to meet in the middle. And I already have that middle fold there, so that kind of helps me. They're going to meet right in the middle here. And you might be wondering, why would I do that? That's just an extra step. It's because piece 1 and 2 both need to be placed on the fold. And if I only had one fold, there wouldn't be a place for piece 2 to go, right? Piece 2 couldn't go on the fold. But with this double fold, then I can put one on this fold and one on this fold. That way there's no seam down the middle of the front of my hoodie or the back of my hoodie. So you're just gonna lay these out like we did with piece 8, where you put them right on the fold. You're gonna glue yours down really well. Make sure you get all the corners and things so it doesn't fall off. I put that right on the edge. Again, even a 1/4 inch off is gonna make a big difference. So put it right on the fold there. And then you have your 2 layouts. So if we cover this up, we're just gonna look at our sizes, medium, large, extra large, and you'll see we have our 2 layouts just like it has here. So that's the map. This is what we followed. And then eventually you're gonna do this on your fabric. Same thing. Make sure that you start over here, keep everything close together, make sure you have space for piece 2 before you cut or pin anything. You may have noticed that we never ever use pieces 4, 5, 6, or 9, and you might be thinking, what am I supposed to do with them? Well, if we look back at our pattern guide sheet, let me open it up to the part that talks about this. Right here, it tells us that pieces 4, 5, and 6 are only used for view A, and so we don't actually need them, so we can just toss those. View 9 is used for interfacing, which is not our regular fabric. It's a special kind of fabric that's used to help strengthen things and make them look a little bit nicer. So we're going to cut this out separate on a different kind of fabric. So you don't have to hold on to this. If you would like, you can glue it here and just say for interfacing or something if that would help, or you can just kind of put it off to the side because it won't be part of your regular fabric layout.